Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hanging With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter, and you are in the seedy part of town, which is how you get these guys. We are here at Fantasm Orlando, and we're hanging out with John Catapano and Tyson Hanks. And these guys are no stranger to the chair. I threw them out 3 or 4 times. They keep coming down and sit. This is the only comfortable place in town.
We're gluttons for punishment,
That's
too.
right.
Yeah. We like pain.
Guys, how have you been?
Been good. Been busy.
You've had an exciting time.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
That's one way of putting it.
And this is what you guys have been working on
Yeah, we
since
got
the
a-
last
we got a
time
new
we
book
talked.
on.
Almost
You got
a year.
Almost a year,
Almost a
right? But we have to ask you, man. We've been. I know that our followers follow you guys too, and on social media, and they've seen you. John, you're back from the other side.
Yep, I was dead for 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
And then I coded another 6 or 7 times after that.
6 or 7 times.
Yeah, my wife and I go back and forth. It was either 7 or 8 times total. I'm not sure which.
Wow.
Because I wasn't there, so.
Yeah,
I
he was
don't
kind
know.
of. He checked out.
Yep, sure did.
I visited John in the hospital, and when he was finally coherent, I said, hey, the book's not finished yet.
Yeah.
Can we,
Okay, let's go.
We
Chop,
still-
chop.
We got edits to do, so can you stick around for just a little while?
Little while longer.
So,
Now,
I'm happy to
you
have
know,
you around still.
You write dark fantasy, you write dark stories, you write horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've been there, you've been back. Anything to report?
No.
Or we got to wait for the next book to find out.
No, actually,
He's stingy. You're gonna have to buy a book, and then you can find out what happened.
my experience, I'll tell you, absolutely true. I felt like I fell asleep. And then I would wake up and there'd be all these people in the room. So I have a T-shirt that I've just done that says, living is hard, dying is easy. Because it's absolutely true.
Living again. We're glad that you're here. We're
Thank
certainly
you.
glad that you're back on the show, and you're here with new work.
Yes.
And I know I was listening, eavesdrop. Well, I was talking to Tyson, but he drones on. So I was eavesdropping as you were talking to Sage, and I know you got great stories coming up too. You're eager to get back to work, writing and things.
Yep.
So let's talk about
Invasive species.
Invasive species.
Okay, the genesis of this.
Okay.
I was living in Kissimmee working for the Walt Disney Company in 1995. I've been here about 4 years. Read a couple of articles in a newspaper, very small, little tiny articles on like page 6, page 7. And that gave me the impetus for this. So actually my first draft of this was 1995. Then I published a comic book that basically is the first chapter of this book
Okay.
in 2005. So here we are, nearly 35 years later, and it's finally in book form.
In book form.
Yep.
Okay. What's the book blurb on invasive species? What are people going to the store? What are they gonna get? Without the spoilers.
Yep.
I always have to tell these guys because they want to give it away.
We pretty much give away the within the first couple pages.
Yeah.
But we still like to keep
Yeah.
it.
Tell you what, let me read the blurb off the back of the
Oh,
book.
there we go. See, this is the way
Okay.
The marketing department, they had it handled.
Something has come to Florida, but they don't want you to know about it. It's cutting a trail across the state and leaving nothing but mutilated bodies and carnage in its wake. Meanwhile, a veterinarian and a county sheriff battle against powerful political and corporate entities who will stop at nothing to keep the invasive species a secret.
And it's not a Brazilian pepper tree.
Not the Brazilian
Not
pepper
the Brazilian pepper tree.
Not a boa
Different
constrictor.
monster.
Not a boa
Not
constrictor.
a boa constrictor.
I like to tell people it's think of films and stories for that matter like Jaws and Piranha, and where something's coming in, it's chewing up the residents, but there's people that got some money at risk here, and they're gonna. We don't want anybody to know about this, so it's kind of in that sort of vein. Which is the sort of flicks that I loved growing up.
It really is because
creature
there
flicks.
is it's kind of like you said, it's kind of like Jaws or Piranha if there was just this big like shark breeding company that was making millions, and all of a sudden you're like, we're gonna go kill the shark, and they're like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
He's eating people.
Right.
He'll get better.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They're insignificant. It's okay.
What I
it's
found
okay.
fascinating, again, without spoiling
He's only
too much.
eating the little ones.
Our invasive species is not of the mutant variety or the conjured variety. The entire book is 100% rooted in science, which John was very adamant about when I came on. And I guess the way I came into this project is John, we'd work several shows, we talk all the time about work we're doing, and John will kind of bring artifacts out of his vault from the house and say, hey, here's something I worked on back in the day, and he showed me this comic book from, 95, I think he said, right?
That was 2005.
Or 2005.
Yep.
I said, man, this is a great comic. This would make a great movie, but I said, it'd make a great, have you ever thought about doing a novelization on this? And John said, no, I hate writing. I don't want to do a novelization on this. I said, well, I love to write. He's like, you know what? He's like, I've got the completed comic script. He's like, why don't I just give this to you and you run with it and see what you come up with? So for me as a writer, it was great because I didn't have to worry about plot. The whole damn thing, cradle to grave, man, was absolutely. It was completely plotted out. All I had to do was just expand the characters and play with dialogue and work with the scenes. I mean, it was a dream for me. But John was very adamant. I would work some stuff in. He'd say, he's like, real members of this species can't do that. They don't do that. They don't do this because John's background is in science. And he said this isn't going to be anything that could. The point of this story is to incite fear in people because it could really happen.
You know what? Those are the best horror stories. The ones where you sit back and you think to yourself, oh, wow, there's one of those out back. Or, that could happen. I know a guy like that. Or, those are the ones that get you to think. And they terrify you. They really do. Now, you guys are both horror fans as well. Here we are at Fantasm. What a great room. What a great room. Now that you guys have been working together a while and you guys are writing in the genre or whatever, you find yourself tabling here, all horror fans, big, small, of all kinds. What's it like being on the other side of that table now? A little more accomplished. It's not like your first time or whatever, but here you are. At a place like this where people are coming to see you sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, this is true.
We do have a fan base.
Yeah.
They do show
up. So what's that like on that side of the table now? It's a lot different than when you first start out and you're sitting there and all you're doing is slogging books because you're like, please take my books. People are coming to these things because they want to see the authors that are in that room. They want to see the writers and the actors and everybody. This is a niche audience. They turn out.
Absolutely. Yep.
But I'm certainly not the first person in this industry to say this, but horror has the greatest fans on the face of the earth. More so, even I would venture to say, than the Marvel fans and the sci-fi fans. There's something about the horror community, and it's not just the fans. It's other horror writers. It's horror celebrities. Despite the fact that we might show up covered in sleeve tattoos and prosthetics and everything else, and but some celebrities have committed but they've committed some of the most heinous acts ever seen on film. They've got the biggest hearts. They're the sweetest people. They will literally give you the shirts off their backs to help you out and share how they made it. And it's not a stingy genre. There's no egos at play where I don't want to tell you how I've made it and what I've done to get to this point because I don't want to give up my spot at the table. You know what I mean? They're the first ones to say, oh, hey, here's some contacts. Here's what I did. Here's who you should talk to.
Awesome.
And come see me after this panel and I'll give you, I'll give you some business cards.
It's really about
it's
building community.
It is. And I think it's because almost everybody in the community has been a lost child. They're the ones who've always been ostracized for the way they dress, the way they look.
I'm the weird kid because I like
Well, and this is, again, it's a niche group, but unlike, like you pointed out, the larger fandoms that are out there right now that are popular, this is a fan base in the horror community that has been both in vogue and not.
Yeah, it goes in cycles.
And the ebb and flow of that cycle means that, like you said, one day you're the ostracized one, and the next day, oh, wow, it's super cool, But it's the cycle is shorter.
Yes.
So it happens more often. You're in vogue, you're out of vogue, you're in vogue. And so as a result of that, the community is really tightly knit and really welcoming. It's like, hey, there's a new one of us.
Right.
Come on in. I'm reminded of the 30s film, One of Us. One of Us. Freaks. Yeah.
Browning.
I mean, that's what you feel like when you come in here. They just welcome you in. Sometimes it's creepy. Sometimes it's awesome.
Well, and I think it's a growing fan base and a growing industry too. And You know, this certainly isn't the venue to get political or anything, but I think if you look at what's going on in the world, regardless of your own political opinions, but socially, you know, all of a sudden horror on the screen and horror in a book that's a safe place for us now. I would rather see that and read that than watch the news.
Yeah, you know
what I
true.
mean? It's a cathartic release. It always has been. Those of us who are true fans, I think, have always known that we love horror because it's our way of being able to experience that in a safe setting. We know that when
it's a kind of a catharsis.
Absolutely,
you can get
it's a release.
That adrenaline and that rush and that fear factor going on, and then, but again, horror. Somebody earlier had said something about horror and the difference between some of these things, and but horror almost always has a happy middle. I say middle because the ending of a horror story is never the ending, because horror is one of the few places in the world where your bad guy can either come back again and again and again. Dracula's been dead like 1,000 times.
Sure.
Yep.
And you know, so, but I mean, that's just one of the things. Horror is it has a happy middle, and then you're on to the next story, and then so forth. And because we always work things out, we deal with the monsters in our dreams, in our horror. And when you turn on the news, there's just no end in sight for that particular you know thing. So it's a great release for fans, and for especially if you like stories. Horror stories are the oldest stories we've ever told.
Some of them. Yep.
You know, sitting around the campfire, that was what we envisioned, the horror beyond the light. Whether it was something that was going to eat us or something that was, you know, hunting. We felt hunted, but that was our speculation. We didn't like, hey, who's going to be a hero. I mean, that's a great story, but we didn't talk about that. We talked about that tiger's going to eat me as soon as I get outside the light.
Yeah, I think a lot of those too, though, be it ancient stories or those that are a little more modern, most of them have some kind of a happy ending. It's now granted, you know, I've even written a few myself that have very bleak endings, but you know, you even look at masters of the genre like Stephen King. For the most part, most of his books have happy endings. The good guys win. Yeah. You know,
at least for now.
That's true. You know, and I think again now more than ever, people need that. You know, we can take you lower than you ever thought we could take you, but you know, we'll bring you back up. We'll make sure the good guys win. We'll give you a happy ending, and you'll feel better at the end of it for that. I just think that maybe the reason.
Now tomorrow morning we're going to take all of that away from you.
It's volume 2. We're going to start all over again.
That's right. Tonight, feel good about yourself.
Right. No, I just think that in this day and age, people need that more than ever, and that's why the genre is doing so well, and you know why we're doing as well as we're doing. You know?
And we've even done that in Invasive Species, because at the end, when you think it's over, there's an epilogue.
There's just enough to tell you. Just
enough to say, you know.
Maybe.
Just a little hint. At one point, there's a really nasty character.
I don't want to take it all away from you.
Right.
But I want to let you know, we're going to.
I told John there's a really nasty character in here, and you know, it even went through the first round of edits, and as we started reading again, I said, man, I'm really not happy with the way we killed this guy. I said, I need something a little more. So I even told him, I said, look, give me 48 hours with him. I mean, you referred to him like, you know, I said, give me 48 hours. I want to kill him again. Because I said, it just wasn't satisfying.
Slightly more gruesome way.
So.
The conversations that writers have with each other, never meant to be publicized. No.
It sounds like the mafia. Are you calling me from a recorded line? Call me from an outside line before we have this conversation.
You want to really have you want to be frightened. Two writers talking to each other, check their email accounts and their Google history. How to kill people is actually a Google search, you know.
Very much so.
What are you guys working on now?
Honestly, this has been such a whirlwind with trying to get Invasive Species out, between getting it approved, getting the edits done, getting printed copies. We actually sold out of the first printing. We have no copies here this weekend, of course.
We're taking advance.
We're going to get another shipment next Tuesday, so we've got another event next weekend at Necronomicon in Tampa. Right. So we should hopefully have some copies there. We're taking some orders where essentially we've said, look, if you want to buy this book, John and I will get you a copy cheaper than you can get it on Amazon right now. It'll be signed, and we're going to eat the shipping for it.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, my projects next, I just started kind of outlining a new novel. I'm about 4 pages in. It's very much in the infant stages. I have no idea where it's going. It's going to be a little bit darker than Invasive Species. When I write by myself, John can attest to the
Gets a
fact
lot
that
darker.
I'm a little darker.
Just kind of crawl into those other recesses of the mind,
I got some demons and some issues that I work out on the page, but that's my
part of
healthy way
that's-
of doing it.
Yeah.
You know.
John, what do you think?
I have another comic book script that I did in the 2000s.
Okay.
Takes place in Central Florida in the 1930s.
Wow.
And the title is The Grove. The Grove.
The
Like an
Grove.
orange grove. But The Grove.
Okay. All right.
And it involves gangsters and shaman spirits and little kids, and it all kind of comes together.
Oh wow.
and it's already there. It's like Invasive Species.
The story's
I've written
there.
it. The script is done as a comic book, so everything is there. It's just
Wow.
a matter of filling it in.
That is awesome. Guys, thank you so much for coming over today. We want to thank our partners and our friends as always. We want to thank Famous Faces and Funnies, Indie Originals, Josh Bauer with J. Bauer Art for all the fantastic art that's on our set today, our great friends at the Foxwood Wine Company for these incredibly comfy chairs, our good friends over at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida, and our terrific friends at Space Coast Comics, as well as our new friend. Isn't this neat for the set, guys?
That's cool.
We got this inside from Sherry's Bright Ideas. Little Scooby, they move. They articulate.
My birthday was in August, and my daughter helped convince my wife to buy me/us the complete Scooby-Doo series. I've been a Scooby-Doo fan all my life, so that's the first thing I noticed when I walked by.
So your
is that
daughter
Oh, yeah.
has the Scooby-Doo series.
Yeah, it's for her.
Yeah. Shh. Don't tell anybody. All right, guys, thank you so much again. Guys, thanks for logging on and tuning in. Be sure to come back for more and see who we're hanging with next. Awesome job, guys. Thank you very much. Awesome. Very
It was a
good.
blast, as